Monday, the 18th of May. The year is flying. Welcome to SportsView, and we're streaming live on our Facebook page and on our YouTube platform as well, and on LinkedIn. Good evening, Dennis Ivers, our new man this evening. He's ready for the chopping block this evening. Dennis Ivers. Welcome, Dennis.
Thank you.
Good evening, Joe.
Evening, Pat. Evening, Dennis.
Derwin will be in later on when he's ready. But the usual, by the way, you can email us or you can text us here. And if you want to make a comment, you can put on live comments on the stream as well. As I said, you're more than welcome. And usually we begin with soccer. And it was we're coming to the end of the season in all countries, really, in all over Europe this time of the year. We're looking forward to the World Cup coming up in July, I think. Yeah, July, yeah. Is it? July, I think, yes. The World Cup. And there it is for anybody who doesn't know what it looks like, the World Cup. We have 48 teams. God bless us. Anyway, Man City won the FA Cup for people who weren't around the weekend. They won the drab, my opinion, the drab, boring final against Chelsea. They beat them 1-0. With the amount of fitness and the amount of money in the game, you would think it would be more entertaining than that. I don't know, did anybody see it? But fans of Man City won't mind, they won it. Aston Villa beat Liverpool 4-2. Man United beat Forest 3-2. Palace won. Palace lost to Brentford 2-1, and Everton lost to Sunderland 3-1 at home, and Leeds United beat Brighton 1-0, and Wolves drew with Fulham 1-1. I think West Ham were beaten 3-1 by Newcastle, so it's looking grim for West Ham. As we're on here tonight, Arsenal are playing Burnley. So we keep you abreast of that as well. But what was I going to say? Yeah. I suppose one of our former soccer players who is unheralded played his last game in the Premier League, well, in for Everton yesterday, and that's James Coleman. He's 17 years with Everton. That was our own James Coleman, which did you see that at all on telly? Anybody know? It was very, very, very poor. There was very few people at the match, at the Everton match, in their new state-of-the-art stadium, which is doesn't augur well, We have discussed, of course, up in Scotland, needless to say, Celtic won the league against Hearts, and there's going to be an investigation, or as far as I can glean from the online stuff, there's going to be an investigation into some of the Hearts players and mentors were manhandled, to say the least of it. They left immediately after the match, for players and staff, without going into the dressing room. So it must have been for their own safety they were told to leave the place, which is scandalous in this day and age, in my thinking, Scandalous for a club and supporters to behave like that, But it's no surprise. It's a regular occurrence in Celtic, and the Scottish FA seem to turn a blind eye in many cases to it, Actually, we were speaking before we came on here, I said, Joe, the pitch was invaded before the referee blew the final whistle, And I don't know what the rules of a soccer match are, but if the pitch is invaded, they can be ordered to replay the game, I think. I'm not 100%, I think. I'm not too sure. Would that be the case?
Well, I don't know. To be honest, like I said, I've seen it happen before, and I experienced it once. In that particular game, Grimsby against Chelsea in 1984, the referee took both teams off the field, but that was halfway through the first half. So, you're either going to take them off and get the crowd somewhere else. What had happened, so many Chelsea fans had been allowed into the visiting end that they were just so overcrowded and they had to come over the top. Luckily enough, there was a new stand that was being built or had been built at the time, and they had terraces in front of it, and they were able to move the Chelsea fans over to there. That kept that empty as a safety between the fans, keep them segregated. But once those fans moved over, then the game continued without any issues, where the referee called it. But Derby County and Fulham, when Fulham were trying to get into the old First Division or the Premiership back in the day, and Derby needed to win to stay up, and Derby scored or equalised in the last minute, which kept them up. And there was a pitch invasion, and Malcolm McDonald was the manager of Fulham at the time, and he was very upset that the game was not allowed to be finished, because the referee called it right there. Just took the players off the field for their own safety. So I don't know that there's an answer to it, because if for instance, if we say that you play the game again, right? So is that setting the precedent for future? If you're losing, then your fans invade the field, and now the game has to be replayed again. So I don't know what I mean. I see today in the paper that they're talking about Celtic better be prepared for a points deduction next year, which may be the only way that you can really handle. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, Dennis. Right.
I would say that's the most likely thing to happen. I think that would be too dangerous to play that game again with such high stakes. And as you say, it might set a precedent for teams that will be losing towards the end of the season, that they might invade the pitch to cancel the result going against them. So I'd say there's a fine, and there's probably could be up to anywhere up to a 10-point deduction for Celtic, which would be fair enough in the way things turned out. Even though we're all Celtic, or most of us are Celtic supporters by whether passively or otherwise.
Yeah.
So I would think that would probably what will happen. I can't see it being played again, and I do feel sorry for the Hearts players that the season ended with the jumping on a bus to save their lives. I think that's a horrible thing to happen.
Well,
it's terrible. I mean, when you're in, I've told Pat before, I got stuck in the middle of a pitch invasion a couple of times, and one particular at Millwall, which they're not exactly the I don't know how to best put it, but they were more interested in getting after their own players than they were us. So it wasn't too bad, but it is quite terrifying because there's nobody there to help you.
No,
You're in the swarm. I mean, Celtic Park holding 50,000 or 60, whatever it is it holds, and the den at Millwall holding 15 to 20,000, whatever that was at a time, and probably only 6,000 people.
Yeah.
Amazon must be here. Girls, calm down.
I hope that Martin O'Neill retires now.
He has retired.
Has he?
Well, I'd hazard a guess that he would.
Well, I hope so for his sake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why would you put he's 74 years of age. Why would you put yourself through that? I mean, what he did was great. How it finished out for him, in particular, winning the league is fantastic. So what have we got to prove if you come back?
Nothing. You have everything to lose.
Yeah, you really do, and
Yeah.
it's him coming in and then doing it, getting it back on track, and then they go on to the other guy who was a complete disaster, and then him coming back and then rescuing it again. I think, quit while you're ahead, and do your excuse me, do your punditry work.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you said could happen, Dennis, about deducting the points and a fine. But I mean, it doesn't take away from what happened at all, And I suppose there could be no recompense. You can't. I suppose we all agree that you can't really replay the match again, even though technically you could, whatever rules they have up there. But I don't know. Money talks.
I
Money
suppose
talks.
you could replay the match, but you'd have to replay it behind closed doors. You couldn't have fans in there,
No, you could not. No.
So
They
then that is.
they could play it over in Iceland,
I was just thinking of that.
Somewhere that's cold.
Yeah,
Anyway, look, congratulations to Celtic. We won't be that too childish about it, but I mean, it's an awful way to wind up the year in Scotland, and it's not a good look for soccer. It's already under pressure enough, But going back to our man Seamus Coleman, I mean, 17 years with one club in this day and age is it's unusual, Joe, to say the least of it.
oh yeah, it is. I mean, when everybody is, for the most part, in it for themselves, to make as much money as they can, which I no problem with that. Fair play to them, But guys like that need to be recognised, and he's been a terrific player for them as well. Unfortunately, towards the end there, he had a lot of injuries, but he kept battling away and coming back and coming back. So, yeah, he's a credit to the game, that's for sure.
He is, yeah. Now, thanks, Dave, for commenting here about Arsenal from Dave, my friend, and he's watching us online. And he said Arsenal have a new name. They're called. Did they get an awful lot of VAR decisions this year? I don't know. I don't remember them. But they're called Arsenal now, according to Dave. There's people referring to the Arsenal Football Club as Arsenal. Arsenal, for people who might understand my accent. But I don't know whether that's true or not. I don't know. I must look it up. They seem to have a lot of VAR decisions going their way. We won't talk about VAR because it's absolutely ruining the game. Wasn't there a VAR controversy in the Man United Forest game?
Yeah.
For their second goal, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't think it was necessary for that to go to VAR. My own opinion on it.
Why did you not think it should go to VAR?
Because it wasn't a handball.
You don't think it was?
It happened in the natural movement of the game. He didn't stop the ball with his hand. If you look at the natural movement of the game, and he laid the ball off to who was it? Kuna, whoever scored.
Kuna, yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know.
The issue with not handling the ball as a defender has become more prevalent, and I see so many defenders going around with their hands behind their back as if they've been arrested. And I look at the goal yesterday that Haaland crossed for the only goal of the game, and is it Kudicini or whatever his name is? He just stood still because you can't run with your hands behind your back, and he put his hands behind his back, and he let the cross come completely unchallenged. And if he had have gotten to the breakdown of the ball, that cross would never have gone in if he didn't put his hands behind his back. He was more concerned about not giving away a penalty himself than he was afraid of conceding a goal for the team, and it's become an obsession. If you ever watch someone who's been arrested and the police are putting him in the car, they always put their hand on his head because you can't bend or anything when your hands are behind your back. You have no flexibility left. And you certainly can't run. And the number of times I've seen goals scored this year in the Premiership, and the defender, instead of getting to the shot before it even leaves the ground, he's standing there in the keeper's way with his hands behind his back. It's just, I just can't figure out where this news came from.
He can't move with his hands behind his back properly.
No, if you watch that replay again and you watch Haaland crossing the ball, he was completely unchallenged. And if you watch, I think this is Cudicini or whatever his name with the curly black hair. He could have got to that cross. He could have stopped that cross happening.
Marco Corella.
Yeah.
I just don't get that.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Now, what we're saying here, and tomorrow night we have Bournemouth playing Man City in the Premiership, and Chelsea playing Spurs tomorrow night. Obviously, Spurs are under severe pressure. They're 2 points ahead of West Ham. So, but it looks like West Ham aren't going to win another game. To me. Wednesday we have Aston Villa playing Freiburg in the Europa League final on Wednesday night. And they had a very good win over Liverpool. So I think that they will be side favourites to win that Wednesday night. And anybody might not know, but the Republic of Ireland soccer team had a friendly over the weekend. For all of you who missed it, I'm seeing two lads looking at me. I even missed it myself. Where they beat Grenada 5-0. They had a few new players on the team. People can look it up for themselves. I just saw it as the result anyway. They're playing.
Who was that? Who was that, Pat?
The Republic of Ireland were playing Grenada in a friendly over the weekend. They won 5-0. But they're playing. Who are they playing next? I forget now who they're playing next. Anyway, apparently the manager knows the people in charge of Jamaica very well, and through his connections there, that's why they got the friendly with Grenada. That's what I was reading anyway. But they're shaping up well, and well, they won't be at the World Cup in July, but that's unfortunate. Talking about the World Cup in July, the 16 lads who are expected to lift the cup are France, Spain, Argentina, England, Portugal, or Brazil. They are the 16 that all the what we call experts believe that the winner will come from those 16s. I don't know about Portugal. Are they Portugal an aging team, aren't they? And we have to say about
Portugal got a lot of good young players though as well. I mean, so, and I don't think you can ever count Germany out at a tournament.
True.
They always sing. They always know how to manage a tournament.
In the last year.
Yeah. So I mean, I suppose if you look at it, France, you'd have to think with all the forward players that they've got and the midfield that they've got, that they just, I mean, they've left some guys out of that squad that you're going, wow, that's kind of interesting, But they have such a depth in that country now. It's unbelievable. They'd be my favourites for it.
I see the playoffs, Joe, are going ahead in all the divisions as we speak as well. And in your own division there, Grimsby lost out to Salford 4-3, the odd goal.
Yeah.
So Salford and Notts County are in the League 2 final for the last place for promotion to League One. And in League One, then are in Championship. Southampton have qualified to play Hull for the last place for the Premiership. Hull are doing very well, and
Yeah.
Southampton. Well, there was a controversy about Southampton, as we all know,
Yeah.
about the spy with the camera at the training. Anyway, Millwall were beaten 2-0 by Hull in the other semi-final. So, my team, Millwall, won. We go up to the Premiership.
Yeah, that Hull were the better team in that. I watched those games. And,
Hull played very well.
Yeah,
Back
they-
in the season, they had some very good results, you know.
Yeah.
Hull, that is.
and Southampton were better than Middlesbrough as well. In my
Southampton, I always like Southampton. They're a solid team.
Yeah, no, they look good in that game. It's just sad that that they resort to these trying to spy on other people and what have you. I really don't know what you think you're going to gain from it, because in the end it comes down to playing the game.
Yes,
It comes down to what the players are going to do on the night.
exactly.
You can prepare all you like for what they're doing, do this, that, the other. But if your players don't show up to play, then you may as well forget about it. Concentrate on your own team and get your own team right, and let it fall where it should fall.
There was an issue with the Donegal footballers a few years ago, if you remember. There was some guy sent down to Kerry to spy for the All Ireland, wasn't it?
Yeah. Down to
That
the
didn't-
training ground. Down to the training with his with his lapel camera.
He fell out of a tree.
I know. I know. It's, by the way, for people, Arsenal and Burnley are still scoreless after half an hour, so it's 0-0 at the moment, you know. So there you go. Can you imagine if Arsenal lost to Burnley?
I tell you, I can imagine anything happening at this stage of the season and what's been going on. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I know we don't want to talk about VAR, or you didn't, Pat, but that situation with Arsenal and West Ham last week is an utter disgrace. It's an utter disgrace to anybody in soccer, that you look at that, and as soon as the ball is played, right, it's in play. As soon as the corner kick is taken, it's got to travel 50 yards to get to the box, right? To get to the center of the box before the goalkeeper gets to be involved in it.
Yes.
Right? And an outfield player has his hand across, gets his hand across the goalkeeper just as he comes out, right?
Yeah.
But there are two Arsenal players holding West Ham players around the waist.
Yeah.
For all the time that ball is traveling in the air.
Yeah.
Declan Rice is dragged into the net by the West Ham player with his arms around his waist. Trossard has got the guy who's put his arm across around the waist and is down here like this holding him. And the referee doesn't see that.
No,
Doesn't
doesn't
see that.
Yeah.
So first of all, which is the first foul committed? The holding foul.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a penalty right there. End the story. So why is that not called?
I saw yesterday in the Man United and Forest match, I saw most of that, and I saw 3 blatant fouls in the box on both sides, and during corners, and no free call, no foul call.
But a hand across the goalkeeper is.
But if you put down a player out the field, you get a yellow card and a free. If you pull down a player in the box, you get nothing.
Yeah.
Well, in tennis, Pat and Joe, there was over the years with the likes of McEnroe and those, there used to be terrible rows about the ball being in, the ball being out, and so on.
Yeah,
And then they brought in that you could do a call, so many calls in a match. So it's possible in football that maybe the captain or the manager might have two calls in a game, two calls for each team. So in other words, if you felt a terrible injustice, you could use your two calls or one of your two calls in a particular situation. But after that, then the game flows, as the
yeah,
referee's decision then is final. So you don't have constant intercession from this VAR. You'd have to, if you could put it like in the tennis, where you can call, if you feel a line call went against you, you can ask the umpire to show it.
yeah.
So maybe with VAR, if there was a situation where the captain of each team would be allowed either one or two calls during a match, and that's
Yeah,
it
well,
then.
that would take a lot of the injustice out of it, not all of it, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
And
Well, it
there
would,
is a system in the US, but it's obviously a little bit different because it's American football. But a coach gets a red flag, and if he wants to protest the call, he can throw his flag,
yeah,
right? But if he loses the call, then they lose a timeout,
yeah,
which is a precious commodity in American football. I don't know what you could do in soccer in our football that would be able to do that. But I agree. Given the coach the ability to make that decision, to challenge it,
yeah. I
and
think yeah, it would reduce a lot of the anger as well, and the discontent. But I mean, with all the money that's in soccer, I mean, I have no idea. I don't know what the practice of VAR is now at this stage. And you're thinking calling over here, Joe. And I think the sooner they get rid of it, the better for the game. Because you have the Championship, League One and League Two, week in, week out, going along without VAR, and you don't see any headlines in the newspapers about huge decisions. Very,
well,
very,
I'll give you an example. Right, you talked about it. I watched the playoff game between Salford and Grimsby Town the
yeah,
other night. Right, Grimsby Town are losing 1-0 from the first leg. Salford score, so we're down 2-0, and then we score a goal, and the Grimsby captain Green gets a header, and as the ball flashes across the goal, it hits a Grimsby Town player on the arm and goes in the back of the net, and the goal is given. No objections from anybody.
no,
There's second Grimsby Town goal could have been considered offside. No, nothing.
no jumping up and down.
No jumping up and down or this, that, or the other. And it's one of those where the linesman was probably a yard behind the play, trying to
Yes,
catch up with it because it happened so fast.
yeah,
And he couldn't see clearly through the
yeah.
Salford defenders. So it was goals given, and eventually they end up losing 3-2 in the game, and 4-3 on aggregate. But and I watched the other playoff games, and anything that in the Premier League, it would have been questioned. It would have gone to VAR.
Yeah,
And you played on referees no play on.
yeah,
We kick
absolutely.
the other way. And the
Pure,
story, and
pure football, yeah,
we've
yeah,
talked about it before. What we have now is we have people re-refereeing games.
yeah, behind
The referee doesn't change his mind.
No,
You know, referee is once a referee makes a decision, he's not supposed to change his mind. You get
no.
on with the game, it goes with the flow. Now, they're, you know, it's my opinion, but
I'm just wondering. Will VAR be in operation at the World Cup?
well, there'll be some form of it, for sure, because everyone's using it.
I'm looking forward to the World Cup for VAR. Over to rugby, the United Rugby Championship is coming to a close, and Munster had a stunning win over the weekend. They won 24-17. They're into the top eight, and that's important as well for Munster now, who are in dire need of cash flow. It means they get into the European Cup, if they have a chance again to get into the European Cup, and hence some games in top class teams. And also were beaten by Glasgow, so the Connacht beat Edinburgh 26-5, and Leinster beat the Ospreys 68-14. I mean, now the Welsh teams in the URC will be reducing from 4 to 3 next season in the URC, so they're down a franchise in the URC. So I was just reading a bit about them. They're bringing in, they're thinking of bringing in what we call a made-up franchise from a country like Georgia or Russia, who are struggling in Division Two of the European Rugby. A lot of people are not aware of there's a second tier behind the Six Nations in rugby in Europe, and a lot of people aren't aware of it. You have teams like Portugal, Spain, Georgia, Russia, who are manfully trying to keep the game alive. So a franchise from an area like that would be welcome in my mind anyway, to certainly raise standards, you know. In the top 14, just because I'm a francophile, in the top 14, we had Montpellier were beaten by Cast, or won at Cast 36-33, and uh, Bordeaux beat Perpignan 37-32. Bordeaux are into the European Cup final against Leinster with Belbari, the dynamic Belbari on the wing with the red hat. We're looking forward to seeing him. And the women's Six Nations came to a close with what I would call the two professional teams in it, France and England. And England beat France 43-28, and they won the Six Nations. I think is it for the 6th year in a row, is it? Something like that.
Yeah.
And Ireland, what I would say about Ireland women's rugby team have come on in leaps and bounds, and they've won the second part of the Six Nations, if you understand what I'm saying. So they were the best of the rest. They beat Scotland 54-5. And Wales, unfortunately, like them, they finished bottom of the women's Six Nations. They were beaten by Italy 43-24. So that was the women's Six Nations. And there was a big crowd at the Ireland match. The Ireland Scotland match was played in the Lansdowne Road, and there was a big crowd. It was over 30,000, I think, was it?
That's correct.
Yeah, it was a testament, I suppose, of the interest of where the game was a couple of years ago to where it is now, you know. But there's some fine players on that English team. Number 10, number 15 caught my eye, number 10, number 15, and a few in the pack. And it was entertaining, you know, I only saw the highlights of it. The latest in the golf, the PGA over in America, was won by first timer Aaron Roy from England, from Wolverhampton. He won his $3.69 million for his win. Paulie Harrington was the best of the Irish at -1 at the age of 54. Well done, Paulie. Fair play to you. You didn't lose it yet. He finished it at -1, and he won over 100 grand for his weekend. So he paid the bills. He opened with a 74 as Paulie Harrington, and he closed with a 69, and in between he had 69 and 67. So he played a very, very, if he had opened with a 69 in the opening round, he would have been well in contention, which is a testament of how fit the man is. Shane Lowry finished the tournament at +2 and 68, 76, 70 and 68.
76 killed him, Pat.
It did. And Lottie Ward won the Queen City Championship, and Leonie Maguire was having a disastrous season, unfortunately for her point of view on the circuit. She manfully qualified for to play for the weekend, and she came back well. She had a pair of 71s and a pair of 69s, and she finished at even par. Lottie Ward, who's a new professional for England, she won it at -12. So she's having good time. The German Masters and the Ladies Tour was won coincidentally by a German, -10 on that. That's still in the athletics, lads. I know I'm interested in athletics, but in the Diamond League meeting in Beijing, Mark English, fair play to Mark English.
Yeah.
I watched the race. I had to watch it a second time to see. If you watch the race, it's on YouTube. I ask anybody interested to watch the race. How he won it from where he was is still. He had to come out and a zigzag. And your man, there was from Botswana, there was a thought he had a woman was raising his hand and bang, making his caught him on the line. Sensational race, it's fantastic. Won the 144, it was fantastic running. In tennis, in the Italian Open, Elena Vitolina won the women. She beat Coco Gauff 6-4, 6-7, 6-2. So it's very good. She's gone up to number 9, I think, in the world now. She's the wife of what's his name? Gael Monfils. You know the English.
That's right, yeah.
That's his wife that won that. And the doper Sinner won the men's. He beat Casper Ruud 6-4, 6-4.
What's your opinion on him, Pat?
Oh, he's a disgrace to be played in this. Disgrace.
He was caught twice, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems a bit odd, all right, doesn't it?
They gave him a short suspension, and there was no competition at the time when he got his suspension.
Yeah, and his masseuse said that he had it on his hands when he was giving him a massage.
You couldn't
It went through the skin pores.
you couldn't make it up. You could not make it up. You know?
Oh, he did make it up.
Was it?
And it worked.
He started as a downhill skier. He was more of a skier than he was a tennis player at one stage.
He's skating around too, so.
He has these particularly long legs. He looks like a matchstick man if he wears a short pair of shorts. He's very, very long legs.
Yeah.
And he's not particularly muscular to look at. Given that if you look at someone on television, they're usually 10% bigger than they are in real life.
Yeah.
And he even looks skinny on television. So it is bizarre how, when he was, 18, 19, 20, 21, and suddenly he just has a metamorphosis in every respect, in his physique, in his game, and, where the likes of Djokovic could beat him handily. Suddenly he's destroying everybody with shots that are going to the line, on the line every time.
Well, Arsenal are gone 1-0 up.
Whoa.
Arsenal 1-0 up, and it's half time now in Burnley against Burnley, so they're 1-0 up. Havertz scored in the assisted by Saka in 37 minutes. So that's the league wrapped up, lads, is it? For Arsenal.
There's still a game and a half to be played. There's still a game and a half to be played, and there's lots to. I think there's still a lot to happen.
Maybe it's my own prejudice. I know we all have different prejudices, but I can't watch them. I can't watch Arsenal playing soccer.
Well,
I think I couldn't even describe their style if they have a style. I can't. I think they're a wooden team. That's the way I describe them.
Well, they're not like Paris Saint-Germain, shall we
Oh
say.
no.
No,
Oh,
no.
oh
It's
no.
going to be a big contrast in the final.
It's going to be, as the old man said to me, it's going to be a massacre.
But you know what? Though,
I know, Joe.
as much as I tend to agree with you. I think PSG will win, but Arsenal are a very, very tough team to beat, and I think that you know they're not going to be out of it. I mean, it's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be a walkover final. I don't think it's going to be like last year. What was it, 5-0 last year in the
Yeah.
Champions League final? I don't think it's going to be that anywhere near that this time. I think it'll be. I think it'll be a very cagey game.
Yeah.
Where is it being played? In Bucharest, is it? No.
And just,
I don't know where it's being played, actually, I'm afraid.
where
thought
is it
it
being
was
played?
in Romania.
Oh, is it being played in Istanbul?
Is it?
Is it
Goodness.
Istanbul? I can't remember now. I remember thinking when I was watching the semi-final. But
I don't
yeah,
know.
it's going to be really interesting to see that game and to watch it, because PSG showed in that game in the second leg of the semi-final against Bayern Munich how they can shut a game down.
Yeah.
I mean,
Incredible.
I mean, everyone said no, they can't do that. Well, they did, and they made it very, very boring for a good bit of it, where they just played defensively and got everybody behind the ball and just frustrated the heck out of Bayern Munich. Now, it didn't help that Olise and
When
the
I
guy
see
from Liverpool didn't play that well.
when I see PSG down to play soccer matches on telly, all the players from the goalkeeper up are attack minded, are positive, and they got positive frame of mind. All of them from right up to the striker. That's what I like about the team. And when you see, you know, you're going to get an exciting game when you watch PSG playing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They have some
I think
fantastic.
they're going to take it to Arsenal from the start.
Yeah,
And it might become a game that is more open, like the first semi-final between PSG and Bayern Munich.
yeah.
Depending on who scores first. If Arsenal scores first, I think you can forget about it as a game of football for them.
If Arsenal score early and first, I'll switch it off.
Yeah, they'll pack it in and they'll try and do that.
They're not.
But
They're
still,
not.
PSG, they've got so many guys that just can unlock a defense in a split second. And
Yeah, I agree there, Joe. I think that PSG actually became a better team when the likes of Messi and
oh yeah,
that when he left and when the other guy went to Real Madrid,
The 100
PSG
the 100 million man.
became a better
Mbappe.
team because they played for each other.
yeah. I was really amazed that I said you observed it as well, but how hard their forward players work to put the opposition under pressure
Yes, all of them.
immediately.
Yeah,
Try and win the ball back up the field, and these guys are just like you normally look at them and go, nah, these guys they don't work, they don't want to work that hard, but these guys actually do. They seem like they enjoy working hard to win the ball back immediately. So I love watching them play. I think that they're a joy to watch.
yeah.
Absolutely.
What about your man now going to Chelsea, Alonso?
Well, that's going to be interesting in itself.
Is that his managerial career over?
I think Yeah, it did. You know, I read an article in midweek. Chelsea, Man City playing in the FA Cup final.
Yeah,
They met 4 years in a row, or 5 years in a row, in the FA Youth Cup final. Right?
yeah.
Chelsea, I think, have one player left, and they won 3 of those FA Cup finals
Yeah,
against Man City.
yeah,
And they have one player from that group left in their team, I think.
yeah. See,
And all these guys that you're talking about, Dominic Solanke is West Ham. All these guys that they had with the big centre forward, Abrahams, that they had up front,
Yeah.
yeah,
right? All these guys, they've got rid of them all, and they've spent like I don't know how much it is that they spent bringing all these young guys in that have not worked out. And yet they had all these guys that were winning the FA Cup, FA Youth Cup, and they get rid of them.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no spirit in the team. They don't have a standout player that you can latch onto and say that he's great. You know, like Salah or somebody like that.
Yeah.
It's just one guy after another. They get signed, they play them for a while, they get dropped, they get moved on, they buy someone else. So there's no spirit in the team.
But you know, Dennis, I'd go one further than that, and I'd say that there's no spirit in the club.
Yeah.
Because they don't have an identity now. Chelsea used to have an identity. They don't now.
Who's in
our club?
Who's the Premiership Manager of the Year?
Who's the manager of the year?
Yeah. It has to be Keith Andrews.
Well, it's going to be difficult to see somebody.
He won't get
If Arsenal pull it off, then it'll be. But it's going to be very difficult. But you know, those guys have a history. David Moyes won Manager of the Year a couple of times when he was at Everton the first time.
Yeah.
And they never really won anything. So he won over the big guys. So, I mean, if you're talking about a guy that was probably the first guy at the job, and the job that he's done, he's been absolutely fantastic in that job.
And the other thing is, Joe, they've played well all season. You know, like teams like Bournemouth with a lot of foreign players, they play well in the autumn, and then they go to sleep for about 2 months at Christmas, and then when the fine weather comes again, they play well.
Yeah.
Whereas with Keith Andrews, his teams have been consistently good throughout the year, and haven't had a really bad run of form like Bournemouth had. Sunderland started off the league on fire. They went to sleep for about 3 months, and now they've won a couple of games lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to think as well with Keith Andrews, he lost his team captain to Arsenal.
Yes.
He lost Mbeumo to United. He lost the guy to Newcastle, the other top striker. And he's kept these guys going without a hitch.
The other guy that I would put in maybe second place or maybe in the top 3 would be Oliver Glasner. Somewhat spoiled the fact that he spoiled his own success this year by announcing too early that you should never announce too early that you're leaving, because the team never performs as well after that announcement is made, no matter who the manager is. It happened with Alex Ferguson. It happened with Jim Gavin. It happens with a lot of teams.
Yeah.
When the teacher's gone out, you don't have to study as hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that he would be a great manager with very limited resources, similar to Keith Andrews, because he sold all his best players.
I agree with you. I agree with you totally on that. I mean, and I agree that
on
he
the on
his copybook a little bit
yeah,
by saying that, because he did it in a hissy fit.
Yes,
But
yes.
what I think what he was trying to do was he was trying to show pretty much like Maresca did at Chelsea. You know, I'm the manager here. This is my title, and you guys are. And the same that Amarin tried at Manchester United, but that didn't work for him either. That
uh,
I'm the manager, and why are you guys upstairs telling me what I've got to do?
yeah.
And why are you selling players out from underneath me when I are bringing me players that I don't want? And I
So
think that is part of what happened with Glasner when they sold Gooey to Man City and didn't have a replacement for him. I think that was when he said, "Okay, I'm I'm out of here. There's no future for me in this club." Unfortunately, I think when you do that in England, you can do that on the continent if you want, throw a hissy fit, and they'll because they have a different way of doing things over there. But in England, they have long memories and they're going, we're not going to have you doing that here. We're in charge here and what have you. So, but I agree with you. I mean, I think he's probably going to they're probably going to win that final that they're in, and then he's going to ride off into the sunset. And I mean, I suppose Palace will find somebody else because there's always somebody else. But to win two trophies like that in 2 years, an FA Cup and now a European Cup tournament is, for a club like Palace, is practically unheard of.
Yeah.
And Pat, there was just before, I forget to say, two great Irish managers in the lower divisions, Brian
Oh,
Barry
yeah.
Murphy and the Ipswich man. They have done tremendous jobs to get those teams promoted.
Oh, they have, yeah. They've had fantastic seasons. So, and Kieran McKenna, getting Ipswich back up again after they
Yeah,
got relegated.
that's very good. And I think that another manager that we should be, I like to praise is Vincent Company.
But
Never,
Vincent, yeah.
never in the headlines, but he must be doing something right because they're in line for the treble in Germany. I know they have the best team, in the league, but they must be managed properly as well, in order to win and succeed. And I think and a man that's never in the headlines, never a controversy about him. I think he's turning out to be a little gem of a
Oh, yeah,
manager.
yeah,
It's,
absolutely.
I know they're not in the European Cup final, but
Yeah. I mean, like I said here before, I can't believe that they're not talking about him being the next Manchester City manager when they're talking about Maresca.
yeah. And what's his name? Has Carrick got the gig so for 2 years?
As who?
Michael Carrick got the Man United gig for
It
2
looks
years.
like it, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Looks
I'm not surprised because they've done well. They have European football again for a club that size, and it's good. And I think he steadied the ship, steadied the club somewhat. And I think that, well, I mean, they'll have to get him some players over the summer.
Oh,
That's
yeah, for sure. I
there's
mean,
no mistake about that,
it, yeah, I mean, and the same thing is going to happen with Chelsea next year.
Yeah,
Chelsea, because they're not going to be in Europe, are going to just have their domestic competitions to play in. So you get more time to prepare for your games and what have you. Whereas the other guys are wearing themselves down playing in qualifying groups in Europe and what have you. And that's going to be the real test for United next year, is when they're in the Champions League and how they're going to, backfill the squad with quality players. Because some of them just don't, they're not going to cut mustard. For me, in my opinion. But
yeah. So you're saying that Chelsea could be the second Spurs team to go down next year, is it?
I don't think they'll be going down, but I think it's going to be with Xavi Alonso coming in, and they've got to change their culture completely.
Yeah.
They're a little bit like Real Madrid right now, who just got Mourinho back. They need somebody to come in and just say to that dressing room, grab him by the short and curlies and say, I'm in charge here. You don't have an opinion. You either play or you go. End the story. And that's what Madrid are looking for Mourinho to do. And that's what Chelsea are looking for Xavi Alonso to do. Right?
I don't think, Joe, that Mourinho commands the same respect that he did in his first spell with Chelsea, and then his second spell, he was going really well. And what happened was one of the players got injured during a vital part of a match, and a doctor went out to
remember that, yeah.
A doctor went out to treat him, and he sacked the doctor, basically lambasted her.
Yeah.
And I think from that day, people lost respect for him, and his career went downhill straight after that, almost vertically after that match. And next thing, he was gone, and he failed in most places he has been since. He didn't have the same success rate. I know there were different clubs and all that, but I don't think people had the same level of respect for him after that incident. And I think it ruined his career.
The greatest modern manager I have seen in my lifetime is Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. It's hard. It'd be hard to argue with it.
Yeah.
Or Bob Paisley.
I mean, who else could you talk about? I mean, you could talk about.
I forgot to mention before we go, Liverpool are a team in trouble, player-wise. They're in serious trouble, player-wise. I don't know, is the manager the right man for the job or not? I don't know.
Who's that?
I don't know about that, you know.
Arne Slot at Liverpool.
Arne Slot. And before we finish,
I can tell you this much: he could do without Mo Salah right now.
Yeah, he's gone.
With what's happening, and Salah now has got nothing to lose going out the door.
Yeah,
so he can say what he wants.
Yeah,
about the whole thing. I mean, he's there in the paper after the loss against Villa. Well, we should be playing the heavy metal football, which is, of course, going back to Klopp. Well, you know what? Even if Liverpool were playing heavy metal football now, Mo Salah, you would not be fit enough to play that because you are not at the level that you were when you were able to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and he is one of the problems. He is one of the problems that happens to managers all over the place, that happened to Busby back in the day, that he couldn't get, that happened to Revy at Leeds, that he could not get rid of the players that he loved.
Yeah, that's right.
He couldn't move them on.
Yeah.
And Mo Salah needed to be moved on. With that time when he could have gone to Saudi Arabia and got all
100 million.
He should have gone.
Yes.
He should have just rode off into the sunset.
What is he now? 32, 33?
33, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, we've seen what's happening. I mean, everyone's watched him.
Before we close out that, next week, Joe, I just want to tell you, I won't be around next Monday, so we'll have our SportsView on Tuesday, if that's all right with you. Tuesday
That's
evening.
fine, yeah.
Tuesday evening, and next week only Tuesday evening. And from Dennis Ivers, fair play to Dennis.
Thank you.
From Joe Waters and myself, until we meet again next Monday night, or next Tuesday, the 26th of May. Goodness me, years flying. Thanks, lads, and have a good week.
All right, take care, lads. Bye-bye. Good night.